Welcome to Money Making Conversations. I am your host, Rashawn McDonald. I always tell people it's time to stop reading other people's success stories and start writing your own. Today's show is going to be about looking at other people's love and finding your own. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit because that's how special this show is today. And I always tell people to lead with your gifts and don't let your age, friends, family, or coworkers stop you from planning or living your dreams. My interviews I have on Money Making Conversations are with celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry decision makers. Now today I will include love matchmakers. My next guest is Spicy Marty. She's a magnetic matchmaker, magnetic matchmaker and relationship expert who's focused on encouraging individuals and couples to unlock the power of their passion in order to attract their purpose mate. She is the founder of The Spicy Life, and we'll discuss Spicy Marty's career journey and the Spicy, that's SPICY fundamentals. Please welcome to Money Making Conversations, Spicy Marty. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me.
Well, great. Great for coming on the show, about relationships. And we come out of COVID. I remember doing COVID. I was like, boy, I'm so glad I'm not in the game, boy. You couldn't, if you kiss somebody, you're going to get COVID. You have a relationship with somebody, going to have COVID. The online and apps were just exploding. These relationships, you swap it right, swipe left, swipe COVID left, swipe COVID right. It was just really crazy in 2020. And now you said during that period, your business flourished.
Yeah. I know. I almost, there's a little bit of guilt when I say like, business was amazing for me, right? Because there was so much hardship going on from a financial level to a romantic level for, the entire world. But being in an industry that focuses on helping you find love and your purpose mate, actually, it was an eye-opening, awakening experience for a lot of folks, I think, deciding like, hey, this is time for me to get serious. Who knows if I'm going to spend another year in quarantine, isolated. I really should, take my companionship and relationship growth serious. So because our fundamental elements are based off of self, passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes, a lot of people decided that they were going to invest in themselves and make sure that they don't spend 2021 and 2022 alone. And so business has been amazing.
Well, we're going to talk about your business and the model in a minute, which is love. But I want to go back to, we don't always start there. You was at iHeartMedia, which I'm very familiar with because Steve Harvey and I did our syndication contract with iHeart in 2005. And he's still with iHeartMedia. In fact, my podcast, Money Making Conversation, is on the iHeartMedia platform. And then you did work with HBO. And talk about that start in that area. And then we're going to go back to college. We're going to kind of like go there and then go back to college. Then we're going to come back, understand how you into this love-making spicy zone.
So my career journey has definitely been diverse, right? But everything that I've done has led me to this point. So I realized at an early age that my purpose and my calling was to connect people, and understanding that was a part of my spiritual gifts, made sure that I went to, undergrad and got my master's in communication, since that's the number one breakdown in relationships, but all the while gaining experience as a relationship expert on media platforms from radio to television. And so starting off at actually KJLH early on with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey actually was at KJLH, but with Stevie Wonder. And then going from KJLH to 92.3 after having built like credibility in the radio industry, definitely helped me with my on-air experience and doing a relationship radio show where I gave spicy tips. And so all the meanwhile juggling media plus doing a sales executive position at HBO and making sure that like I also knew how to pitch myself and market and brand. So I was able to understand operations of business at the same time while understanding how to be like in front of the camera.
Well, articulation is the key. What you can't do, you can't stutter trying to tell people about love. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know what I'm saying, Spicy? You can't mess around looking like you confused. You know what I'm saying? And also, let's go be real. You have to look attractive or attractive people. You don't want an ugly person telling you how to find love. So you are attractive. And then you have the word spicy.
That. Thank you.
I'll be honest with you. Just honest money man can't tell you something. If I saw your picture, so she doing a relationship, I don't think she's that busy. If he was ugly, you know what I'm saying? Let's go be busy. But you're not. So fortunately for this interview. But then also you have the word spicy and you're attractive. Did that ever bother you that, hey, people might get the wrong idea about your brand, that you might get a wrong idea about you because you are a serious professional? Okay.
That's a great question. So I love the fact that spicy has become this word that we're like, ooh, what does that mean? There's this passion and desire that's associated with the word spicy, right? And so I love being able to have an opportunity to describe, even with questions like this, what spicy actually stands for. So I've always embraced it. I coined the name actually in radio because I've always push my business and my company and my expertise, the spicy life. So when I coined the name Spicy Madi, it was because, I'm the CEO of this company, but I'm always giving spicy tips. So when people ask me like, what does that mean? Like, why do they call you spicy? They always think it's because I'm this, fiery,
right.
feisty, Black and Mexican Latina. Mm-hmm. And so I get an opportunity to explain to them, no, I'm mixed. I get an opportunity to explain to them that spicy actually stands for, self, passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes. And that I coined it in my company. So I embrace it. And it's a catchy name that people get to remember. They sometimes forget Madi, but they never forget spicy.
Absolutely. Spicy food, spicy lives, you're having a good, spicy, good time. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you tag that and you create that but the whole process of your brand, because we talk about brand building, yep. you got the corporate experience, but the corporate experience is really different when you're dealing with an individual. And so, because that was always pushback when people would say, well, really? Yeah, you spicy Marty or whatever. How do you overcome people who question your decision to take your brand in this direction? And then what makes you a relationship expert?
Yeah, I think when it comes to branding and credibility, right? People fall in love with the person, right? Before they fall in love with the brand, they want to know who's behind that. So when I explain my story of making sure that, I elaborate on the fact that I've been doing this since I was a child, really connecting people. My mother was married 3 times, single parent. Each time that she was married, I would set her up. I was going up to men in the grocery store, at the gas station, pitching my mother to them because I wanted a dad so bad. And so I got really good at marketing at a very young age.
Hold on.
My mom's on husband, number 4 now. So like, it's safe to say I'm really good at what I do, but understanding that you need the education and the credibility behind that, right? I went to school, mastered in communication, and really developed my method there. So all of the information that I have is based on true research, tried, tested, and proven. So when anyone comes from me and they're like, well, what makes you an expert? You just get to go around saying you're an expert. I'm like, yes, actually, I have even more than 10 years of experience. I've been doing this my entire life, setting up over multiple couples where they've actually walked down the aisle, had children based off of my, connection, and then have relationships right now that are flourishing, that are getting to the point of the proposal and coaching my clients and seeing them all the way through. So I love when people question, what makes you an expert or what makes you a guru, because it gives me the opportunity to really explain all of the investment and time that I put into this. And when people hear your story from a branding perspective, like they want to not just believe you, but they want a relationship with you. And being in a relationship industry, I understand that you need self-awareness. You need to bring that passion and fire. You need to have intimacy, create a bond with your, audience. And you need to have amazing communication in deciding how you deliver that message. And then you also need to be willing to say yes to the risk, yes to the unknown, understanding, that not everybody's going to believe you, but that's okay. If you believe you're going to push that message anyways. So SPICY applies to everything.
Absolutely. So now you're the founder of the Spicy Life. Okay. Again, carrying that brand spicy, taking it from a standpoint of using the word that's very popular, used for a lot of different, it describes a lot of different things. But in this case, it describes romance. You're trying to find that purpose mate. Now,
Yep.
what is the purpose mate?
So I love the purpose mate term, right? Because it makes you wonder, it's not something that we hear often.
Mhm.
Most people think of soulmate. They've gotten familiar with that word. And that is when you have deep affection, romantic feelings for someone, amazing chemistry.
Mhm.
When I speak to purpose mate, what I'm talking about is having chemistry and compatibility. So you need both of those elements. You can't just have the fire and desire. You also have to have the compatibility element. And then in addition to that, you have to be someone who understands and knows your purpose in life,
Mhm.
and then wants to be with someone who understands their purpose. And then you guys merge two purposes together to help one another form or build your empire. The mission that you were put on here to do, you're very clear on that, and you understand your role in that person's life. And you're there to support them, uplift them, use their talents and gifts on another level, and help lift them up. So your purpose mate is way bigger than just like, he's fine, I love him. No, your purpose mate is like, how do I get you to where God intended for you to be? And it's by any means necessary, no matter what comes against us to try to destroy us. I'm pushing you, boo.
I love Marty. Ooh, he's fine. I love, now, which is very true. Now, this is why I like what you just said. First of all, soulmate really has not been working in the marriage world because 50% of the marriage is ending divorce. Now, when you ask somebody what is your soulmate, they really can't explain to you what that is. What exactly is a soulmate? Now, when you went purpose mate, you actually had a point of view that had credibility. I understood it, and I brought value. So to me, this whole purpose mate, if you find a purpose mate, the percentages of successful marriages may go up.
Yeah.
Because soulmate is not working. I'm just sorry. It's not working. It's falling. It's failed because can't nobody explain what a soulmate is. I can't tell you. I've never used the word soulmate, but purpose mate I could use because it has, it's like anything you do in life, like a good job. You have to know it's a contract. And people tend to forget that marriage is a contract, and you have the right to break it if it's not working for you. Now, in this situation, your purpose mate, like you said, is turned to that person's purpose, of what they want to do with their lives. And that never comes up in being a soulmate. I really like that concept that you really have honed on to because it made me think. It made me get a clear understanding of, okay, when I look at somebody, I always tell people like, when you can marry for money, you can marry for somebody who's educated. You can marry for somebody but if you marry for fineness, you marry because he make me laugh. I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be a short relationship. It might lead to marriage and the sex going to get old. And when the sex get old, you won't be laughing as much. But if you marry based on a plan, and that's what purpose mate is. It's a plan, correct? Talk to me. I think I'm into this spicy life, girl. Talk to me.
You have it dead on. I might need to hire you. Let me put you on the payroll.
No, I'm just saying, but you're leading me down the right path because, like I said, I did the book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man with Steve Harvey. Yep. The reason that book was so successful, one of the things was the 90-day period that you had in there. Because it was like, if a job can put you on probation for 90 days, why can't you put your relationship on probation for 90 days? And so this is the same thing. It was tied to making the decision, not so much on emotion, but is this the right person for you? And when I hear the word soulmate, and we've all heard that, and we all have used that in some form. I don't know what that means, but I knew what 90-day probation meant. I does in job and in a relationship. I also know what purpose made me. Once you explain to me, and once you explain it to any of your clients, I'm sure they go, "Wow, I never thought about it like that."
Mm-hmm. You absolutely hit it on the money. And the thing is one thing that I do love about Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I give you crazy, insane props for everything that you did for publishing that book and getting it out there. Is that it speaks to strategy, which I speak to as well, right? Mm-hmm. What you're saying right now is that we have to operate less in emotion and how someone makes us feel and more in logic, which is totally what I'm in support of. I want you to have both. I want you to have the chemistry and compatibility. But what does that look like? How do we create a strategic action plan for what your relationship goal is? And that's what I get to the root of, because a lot of people are just out here floating around trying to figure it out. And one thing that I do support in Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man as well is that 90-day rule. Now, can most people follow it when they come into my program? That's a whole nother topic, right? They require a lot of strength when it comes to being abstinent for those 90 days. but I fully support that and actually implement that in my spicy program because I need people to have clarity of thought. I don't want them emotionally attached to someone who hasn't earned all of the things that need to show up when it comes to their core values, their deal breakers, consistency. And when we speak to your purpose mate has to show the compatibility element before we give our bodies to them. And what I mean by compatibility is I'm talking amazing communication that's in alignment with your definition of communication.
Right.
I'm talking shared activities and interests. And I'm talking about being at the same place in your guys' time and intention of what you guys want from the relationship, right? Can I merge my life with this person? And are we at the same place in our lives in knowing what our purpose is and what's the game plan to fulfilling that? So I'm huge on strategy. And it's something that I've created my whole method around when it comes to manifesting what you truly want. I'm not just about words and emotions. I'm about, yes, manifestation, but we do that through behavioral changes and actions. What's this game plan look like?
Well, really interesting. So because a lot of the big companies out there making money off of matchmaking, and then you just spicy body. Okay, so how do you compete with the big ballers out there? They got the $1 million commercial brands. They on social media. They do geofencing on couples. And it's credibility. How did you manage to start defining your lane and being on major talk shows and being an advice person? How did that happen?
I think a part of my success has been driven not just from the branding component of understanding what my brand is, but also, and I'll tell this to my daters too, what's your product differentiator, right? What makes you different or sets you apart from what else is on the market? And so when we speak in business terms, there's tons of other matchmaking companies, there's tons of competitors, completely understand that. But what they're not doing is giving you the personal relationship coaching that comes with the matchmaking. I can introduce you to 100 people, but if I don't know how to raise your vibration, if I don't know your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which is what I do for my clients, a SWOT analysis, right? Really understanding their character, what their beliefs are, what's holding them back, what's their limiting beliefs, really understanding who they are as a person and developing that personal attention. How am I going to set you up with your purpose mate when we haven't even gotten to the root of, who you are, some of your childhood traumas? So there's a lot of coaching that comes with my program. In addition to the weekly coaching, you also get an image consultant. I redo your look. You also get a professional astrologist. I have someone who's telling me what are the best zodiac signs are for you. I also have a marriage and family therapist on staff. And then I also redo your online dating profile. So everything that we're doing is transformational. And we even have a fitness coach should we need to help you from a health standpoint. So it's full encompassing and very hands-on, whereas other matchmaking companies are just setting you up and they're like, good luck now. Pay my 10K, pay my 20K. Right. And they're not really working on who you are as a person and getting to the root of relationship development. And I think that's what, my main emphasis is that interpersonal development and how do I help you become the best version of yourself so that you can reach relationship actualization.
Cool. Hopefully you trademarked Purpose Mate, have you?
You're giving me a bar right there. We're working on it right now.
I'm telling you, you have to. I'm telling you.
There's 5 things that I have to trademark in addition to the spicy life, which I already have, and spicy Mari. But I have 5 things in the queue right now. So I appreciate
because
that.
I'm just sitting up here just looking at you because you got it. And I look at talent. I look at talent all the time.
I'm gonna be coming for you when I get my book. I need your help.
Absolutely, no problem. I've developed money making conversation as a voice. A lot of people wanted me to mentor them and also give them advice. Well, I can do that in interviews. And also if you listen to the interviews that I do with talented people like you, maybe you can take those little moments of enthusiasm or information, because it's tied to both, because successful people are driven by their hard work, also by their excitement. You're excited about what you do. I don't know anybody who makes a lot of money and unhappy. They're going to change the game. I'm not unhappy with anything I do. I wake up happy. That gets me out of bed. That gets me out the front door. And it also causes me to return home so I can rest up and do it again the next day. Now, spicy, it said yes is important in the learning of say yes. Now, in relationships, you've always heard the word no. You got to learn how to say no. Now, and you is learning how to say yes, because that's the last of the terms with spicy spelled SPICY. Y stands for yes. So talk about that.
So the reason why yes is so important is exactly for what you said, right? Society and what's going on culturally right now is that the, rate of marriage for millennial age groups is slowing down as far as like the time that we're choosing to get married in our lives. Right. So there's all of this fear based around why we need to wait, why we need to be making slower decisions, because, we saw what our parents did and our parents' parents.
Mm-hmm.
And because the divorce rate is so high, we're now dating from a place of fear. And so when you date from a place of fear, that's a scarcity mindset. You're going to be limited in what you believe your options are. You're going to be limited in what you believe that you can attract. So when I hear limiting beliefs, I have to help you with raising your vibration and having not a scarcity mindset, but an abundance mindset. And when we have an abundance mindset, it means that we don't have to be afraid of the unknown. It means that we can take risks and step into them with strategy, right? Because I believe in risk, but I believe in calculated risks.
Right.
So when you're dating, you're going through the process, or even when you're in partnership, really evaluating, the choices that you're making, researching, why you want this relationship and what that looks like, but also what's holding you back, what's stopping you from being in a healthy, loving relationship. And when it comes to partnership, really understanding that, yes, you want those bubblegum, warm butterfly feelings, but you really want the person who's going to submit. And when I say submit, I'm talking about the person who says yes to what's healthiest for the relationship. I'm not talking about, bending down on one knee or doing whatever your partner says. When I talk about submission, I'm saying about what am I willing to sacrifice in this relationship to have what I want? Because you're not going to get 100% of the person, right? I definitely believe in the 80-20. So what are you willing to sacrifice about you, your personality that's not serving you, that's holding you back? And then what are you willing to sacrifice from a behavioral standpoint and making sure that your partner's love language is fed? And oftentimes we want to, I want to put these boundaries up, or I want to put these walls up, and we're so guarded because we're afraid to love. So my whole emphasis around yes is like, okay, let's push past these boundaries. And if we believe that we can actually have what we want, what are we afraid of? We just have to step into our future self and go get it.
Wow. Communication.
I know, it's heavy, right?
No, that's a degree in communication, y'all. Communicate, because the girl can talk now. Now, I know I at least got to bring this up. Vice President Kamala Harris was named, was elected. And so now, she getting ready. Will you just stop dancing?
Let me
stop dancing. And she's a member of a sorority, I think. I think she's a member of a sorority that you're a member of. So just talk about the pride of being the sisterhood of the AKAs and being a member of the AKA sorority.
Absolutely. I think that it's very well known that, right, we pride ourselves on, high morals and ethical standards. And so being able to see, us represented now, not just in the White House, but also making history and also being, connected to my sorority of Alpha Kappa Alpha, I have so much pride in the fact that, like, we did it, right? And when I say we did it as a community, as Greek organizations all around, she represents all of us. I don't want to, just exclude. She just happens to be, an AKA, the first and finest. But I take pride on behalf of all of my brothers and sisters when, we see her up there, on the podium or next to the president, knowing and understanding the responsibility that she has, and knowing, because her core values and what she stands for and what she believes in, that she's going to make sure that she takes care of us and represents us, to the best of her ability. So there's, there was that moment when I cried, when she got elected. But definitely, was huge and excited when I even first heard that she was on the ballot. And then to see her make history on multiple things, on multiple levels, even, me being biracial, seeing a biracial woman up there, like there's so many things that I connect with her on that you're going to get me emotional right now.
Awesome.
But just the joy in my heart, right? My spirit was uplifted and super excited for my future offspring to be able to see her in there, and what she represents. It means a lot to me and to my community.
Well, you're in the money making conversation is business, money, and that is, but also you do a weekly on Clubhouse. You do free sessions, so I just want to let everybody know, you're willing to help people for free on Clubhouse. So talk about that, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. So I love Clubhouse because it gives me an opportunity to give relationship advice weekly. On Sundays, I usually hold a forum where I'm giving relationship coaching and giving spicy tips out there. It's not as full hands-on as, of course, my program or my e-course that I just rolled out, which is 6 weeks that I'm doing, giving the spicy relationship coaching and helping people attract their purpose mate. But it does provide an opportunity for these people to get a taste, to fill up their cup, kind of like Sunday church. When I do my Clubhouse events, it gives people an opportunity to ask me questions and just get some clarity around what they may be experiencing. And then I also provide, if they need to fill their love cup up even more so that they have an abundance to pour into others, I also provide my Spicy Life podcast, where I'm also having guests come on and speaking to relationships on there as well, but getting to bounce off of other relationship experts. And each week I bring in someone different. So I'll do the same thing with the podcast as I do with the Clubhouse, where I'll sometimes bring different people on that I get to interview and give relationship advice out.
She's the magnetic matchmaker and relationship expert. She's spicy body. Madi, because I'm from Houston, Texas. That's how we do it down there, Tex-Mex, you know. But again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Also for attending the HBCU Spelman. That's always great to acknowledge. AKA Q-Dog, okay, over here. Frat, okay, doing my thing too. You know what I'm saying? But just stop. Again, I want to thank you for coming on Money Making Conversation. You're fantastic. Again, keep me in your books. Keep me in your thought process. Anytime you want to promote something, drop your ebook. Drop your book. Also drop your e-line. Let me put it in my newsletter. Okay, so we can get you out there.
Yes,
because I also have a platform, HBCU Awards. I want to recognize you for attending the HBCU, and also because we recognize fraternities and sororities on my HBCUawards.com platform. But again, you are amazing. I'm so glad you took time to talk to me about your brand. And again, I'm a friend. And again, thank goodness you look like your photo. That's all I got to say. Thank goodness you look like your photo.
You would agree. Thank goodness.
Again, thank you for coming on Money Making Conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you want to hear or see any of our Money Making Conversation interviews, please go to moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rashawn McDonald. I am your host.